steps onward, to be honest. I think you can see the reference points from Apex in this album,
Yeah.
but I think where it differs is the songwriting has just become a bit tighter. You know, as you might expect after 16 albums, you know, the chemistry is arguably, you know, a little bit more well mixed, you know, if you want to put it that way. So I think it's not like reinventing the wheel from a Napalm perspective, you know, but I think it's a little bit tighter in the songwriting respects. I think, you know, we've explored a little bit more, you know, we're not afraid to do that, and it's certainly not at the depth to the detriment of the traditional fast and furious side of Napalm. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all good. When we write albums, it's always specific to the times that we're in.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to try and address things that are happening, because the problem is sometimes if you make a very generic concept for your album, so it's kind of a timeless concept, if you like. I mean, that's all well and good, and I'm sure the ideas will be great, but you've got to relate to the times that people are living in if you want those ideas chewed over. So the subjects that we're talking about on this album are very much a result of the last 4 or 5 years. They're very specific to this time period, you know, and that's really important, you know, because again, you know, that's relatable to the world that people live in, you know. So it affects people. It's something that has had an effect on people's perspectives, you know.
Yeah.
If you want those ideas to resonate, and for people to either at the very least know that they are there, then you have to do that, you know, unless you just want to make general points and not have them kind of dealt with from there, which I think is probably not a good idea in my opinion. In terms of the stylistics of it, I mean, I'm a language nerd, you know, I really am, you know. I know that sounds a bit ridiculous, but I am, you know. I love the art of expression, you know, the written word, you know. I've always really liked it. So you know, the title itself, Throes of Joy and the Jaws of Defeatism, it's an oxymoron. You know, it's positive and a negative, both active within a sentence. You know, so it has very nerdy, you know, kind of rules to some extent. You know, but so yeah, I mean, I'll always use word association. Try to use obviously a lot of metaphor. You know, some pathos and humour, which is difficult. The humour part of it's quite difficult when you're dealing with some serious stuff. But you know, lyricists like, you know, truly great lyricists in my opinion, like Jello Biafra, you know, like Steve Ignorant, you know, from Crass, you know, those kind of people just completely nailed it as far as I'm concerned. So I try to achieve something like that at least, you know. But as for the actual meaning of the title, it's actually a multi-layered thing, you know, from the title itself to the actual more heavily embodied meaning of the title, but the actual words themselves within the title. So the Jaws of Defeatism, I'm kind of referring to a metaphorical man trap, if you like, a steel trap. So if you can imagine being caught in one of those, well, of course you're going to be probably extremely injured, extremely distressed, you know, and trying to get out of the thing, you know. I kind of looked at it a little differently. I would imagine being caught in the trap, and basically saying, you know, that trap being an embodiment of negativity, and me kind of being, no, I'm not staying here. I'm getting out of this thing, and it ain't going to stop me. I'm getting out, you know. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's the isolation of, and then that feeds into the meaning of the title, you know, the treatment of the other, of marginalised people, you know, the fact that this is used now by governments, you know, even to make themselves look good in the sort of majority of the population, you know, all that stuff. So